Okay, students, the last class we discussed external structure of heart. The completely detailed explains the external structure of the heart. Now we are going to discuss internal structure of heart. So internal structure of heart. Internal structure. Internal structure of heart. Internal structure of heart come across the following parts. First one is auricles. Second one ventricles. Nodes, muscular nodes. Next, aortic arches. So first one, coming the first points, let us see auricles. So internal structure of heart, they clearly observed this diagram. Internal structure of heart in this diagrams. This diagrams they clearly observed. Now let's see here the auricles. This is one auricles in the right auricles. This is the right auricles. This is the left auricles. The left auricles and the right auricles. Auricles in the thick walls or thin walls. Auricles walls made of thin walls. The upper part of the heart, the collecting chambers or receiving chambers or collecting chambers. So auricles in the collecting chambers, upper part of the heart, thin walls made of the thin walls in the two auricles. The two auricles occupied by the anterior part or upper part of the heart in the auricles. The two auricles is present, the right auricles first one, second one is the left auricles. The two auricles in between the two auricles, in the two auricle separations, the two auricle separations from the interauricular septum. So interauricular septum has the force. Interauricular septum has the small force. The small force, the embryonic stage in the fetal stage. The fetal stage in the small force has the small force. Interauricular septum has small force is present. This force is called foramen oval. So foramen oval. The foramen ovals completely the birth. At the birth times, foramen ovals at the birth times, the closest the foramen ovals, the fossa ovalis. So fossa ovalis, the foramen oval closes at the birth times, the patches is called fossa ovalis. The fossa ovalis becoming the functioning of the lungs. Becoming the functioning of heart or functioning of the lungs, the slowly closes the foramen ovals, only fossa ovalis at the birth times in between the two auricles. The first of all is the fetal stage. Fetal stage in between the two auricles. That in between the two auricles, the separations by the interauricular septum. Interauricular septum has the small force is present. The small force is called foramen oval. Foramen ovals closes. Foramen oval closes at the birth times. Only fossa ovalis in the rare cases does not close the foramen ovals. They completely has the small force is present at the birth times in the rare cases. So in the auricles, the right auricles and left auricles, the right auricles, this is the receiving the deoxygenated blood from different body parts through the precaval veins and postcaval veins. The precaval veins and postcaval veins, this is the precaval and postcaval veins guarded by the sphincters, eustachius valves and sebaceous valves. Precaval veins and postcaval veins where it has the open into the right auricles guarded by the sphincters is present in the sebaceous and eustachius valves. At the same times as well as the left auricles so receiving the oxygenated blood from lungs through the pulmonary veins. So pulmonary veins are also guarded by the sphincters. The left auricles filled with the oxygenated blood, the right auricles filled with the deoxygenated blood. In this in the auricles. Next, coming to the next second point, ventricles. So ventricles in the lower part of the heart. Ventricles, lower part of the heart, thick muscles. The two auricles, the right auricles bigger than left auricles, but ventricles, the two ventricles walls, the thick walls, and lower part of the heart. In between the two ventricles, the separation by the interventricular septum. Separation by the two ventricles. The two ventricles, left ventricle is bigger than the right ventricles. Left ventricle is bigger than right ventricles. The two auricles and the two ventricles. The two auricles and the two ventricles separations by the interauriculoventricular septum. The upper part of the occupied by the two auricles, the lower part of the heart occupied by the two ventricles. In between the two auricles and two ventricles, the separations by the interauriculoventricular septum. Interauriculoventricular septums, they separate the two auricles separation and two ventricles separations. The two ventricles, the right ventricles and left ventricles, the right ventricles, the right auricles and right ventricles. In between the sphincters is present and left auricles and left ventricles in between the guarded by the sphincters. This is the tricuspid valves. The tricuspid valves in between the left auricles and left ventricles, the bicuspid valves. The tricuspid and bicuspid valves, the valves opens and closed, the right auricles to the right ventricles and left auricles to the left ventricles, blood flows. And next, ventricles valve, thick valves. Ventricles valves in the thick valves, because inside the ventricles, the papillary muscles, chorda tendinae, papillary muscles and bundle of is this type of the parts inside the ventricles, the thick walls made of the thick walls in the ventricles wall. Next, coming to the third point, nodes. The muscular nodes, the tissue nodes of the tissues. The nodes of the tissues, the two types of the nodes. First one is SCA node, second one is the AV node. So SCA node means sino-articular node. The sino-articular node, this is the only the right auricles. The right auricles, the anterior part in the right auricles, only one type of muscular node is called SCA node. AV node, this is also the right ventricles. The right ventricles anterior part. The right ventricles anterior part, one nodal tissue is present. Two tissues. The two tissues, this is also depolarization. The depolarizations in the, so this is the action potential. The action potential, depolarizations of the action potentials, the action potential produces the action potentials, and SCA node to the AV node, AV nodes, so distributions to the bundle of is chorda tendinae, papillary muscles, the distributions finally the two auricles and the two ventricles, the contraction relaxation of the heart. The SCA nodes located the right auricles in upper part, and AV nodes the right ventricles in upper part or anterior part. SCA nodes is also the heart, pacemaker of the heart. The pacemaker of the heart and the depolarization of this. So nerve impulse signal processing to the AV node. AV nodes, the signal passes through the bundle of is and the papillary muscles and the chorda tendinae completely along with the ventricles walls. Automatically ventricles and auricles in the contraction and relaxations. Next, the fourth, coming to the fourth point. Now it's the aortic arches. So aortic arches, the two aortic arches. First one is pulmonary arch, second one is systemic arch. The pulmonary arch arising from right ventricles, upper part of the right ventricles, the supplies to the lungs. The pulmonary arch arising from right part of the right ventricles, the upper part, anterior part of the right ventricles, See, the receiving or carries the deoxygenated blood supplies to the lungs. Next, systemic arch. The systemic arch arising from the anterior part of the left ventricles. Systemic arch, anterior part of the left ventricles, carries the oxygenated blood supplies to the different body parts through the different branches of blood vessels. And aortic arches, two aortic arches, pulmonary arch and systemic arch. Pulmonary arch arising from anterior part of the right ventricles, carries the deoxygenated blood supplies to the lungs. The lungs oxygenations or aerations, the deoxygenated blood so converted into the oxygenated blood. The same way, so next, systemic arch. The systemic arch arising from anterior part of the left ventricles. The anterior part of the left ventricles come out the systemic arch. 2 or 3 branches divides, each one branch, so many number of branches divides, they supplies to the different body parts. So systemic arch carries the oxygenated blood. Systemic arch carries the oxygenated blood. So oxygenated blood supplies to the different body parts, the systemic arch and pulmonary arch. This is the internal structure of heart. The following come across, the following the parts: the auricles, ventricles, nodes, nodal tissues. Nodes are nodal tissues. So nodal tissues. So nodal tissues, and fourth one is the aortic arches. So auricles, how many auricles? 2 auricles. Ventricles, how many ventricles? 2 ventricles. Auricles occupied by the upper part of the heart, ventricles occupied by the lower part of the heart. The nodal tissues, how many nodal tissues? The 2 nodal tissues. SCA node means sino-auricular node. AV node means, so AV means auriculoventricular node. And next, aortic arches. How many types of aortic arches? 2 aortic arches, pulmonary arch and systemic arch. So in this regarding the internal structure of the heart. Internal structure of the heart, very important question, long questions in the examination. So internal structure of the heart, so diagram is must, draw the diagrams. So internal structure of the heart, so 2 auricles, 2 ventricles, interauricular septum, interventricular septum, interauriculoventricular septum, guarded by the sphincters, tricuspid valves and bicuspid valves. See the pulmonary arch and systemic arch. So we will completely discuss in the internal structure of heart. Next, working of heart, I will continue the next class and next sessions.